Another beautiful day on this island of Guam. Buenas and Hafaday, my name is Ruby Jane and this is Welcome Home. In today's episode, we head down the street to visit an iconic and historic structure on Guam, the Lujan House, exploring its history and significance to our island. We'll then meet with our friend Remax Realtor Chris Guerrero as he brings us to Aposento Garden in Ordot, Chalampago to show us a few units available for sale. Then, rounding us up is another segment of Peace of Mind with Amber Word. So, stay tuned as Welcome Home begins.
At 108 years of age, it stands as one of Guam's oldest building structures still in use and a time capsule of pre-war Guam architecture, the Jose P. Lujan House and Guam Institute. Its storied history begins with its creation in 1911 by a young designer, builder, and carpenter from Hagåtña named Jose Pangilinan Lujan, lovingly revered by family and friends as Ton Pepe, who built the house at just the age of 20. His construction techniques were quite unique for the time, merging the traditional Spanish mampostería walls with the metal roofing popularized by the recently arrived U.S. Naval Administration.
He used a method called mampostería and chapitza, and mampostería is a construction method for building the walls. What it does is it provides this breathable moisture going in and out the house so that the heat is not trapped in the house. And mampostería is made of lime mortar with rubble and sand and shells in the middle to encase by lime and mortar.
He also utilized strong native EFIT hardwood when constructing the column, flooring, stairwell, balcony, and shutters of the house. Lujan's intended purpose for the house was to be a rental living space for naval officers, which it was until 1917 when he and his wife, Dolores Antolon Cruz, got married and moved in, calling the Lujan House home for many years. But the Lujan House would soon receive an even greater calling, a place of education for Guam's youth. And from 1928 to 1941, it was just that, as it was home to the Guam Institute. Founded by Nieves M. Flores, a well-educated Filipino who served as the Navy's land surveyor, then a practicing lawyer, the Guam Institute was one of the first and most successful private schools of pre-war Guam. It originally taught grades elementary to 8th, with its first graduating class in 1927 only having 9 students. By 1936, the school expanded to include all 12 grades and offered both daytime and evening classes taught by a faculty of 14. Unfortunately, with the Japanese capturing Guam hours after their attack on Pearl Harbor, the Guam Institute was forced to close its doors permanently in December 1941. Although it never reopened after the war, its impact on the island was still felt, as many of the Institute's former students went on to be some of Guam's most recognized and respected post-war leaders, including Archbishop Felix Berto C. Flores, the first Chamorro Archbishop, District Court Judge Cristobal Duenas, and Island Court Judge Joaquin Paris. Although the Lujan House remained relatively unscathed from the heavy bombings during World War II and the cleanup bulldozing of Hagåtña after the war, it fell victim to super typhoons Karen in 1962 and Pamela in 1976, decimating the building and leaving it in ruin. Fearful of losing a significant piece of Guam's history, steps were made to restore the house and preserve it for future generations to learn about pre-war structures, as well as protect and acknowledge the incredible work of one of Guam's greatest master builders, Jose P. Lujan. So on May 4th, 1977, the Jose P. Lujan House and Guam Institute was listed on the Guam Register of Historic Places, as well as the National Register on October 6, 1977. A ceremony was held 1 year later to commemorate its inclusion, with one of Jose's sons, Salvador Lujan, in attendance to accept the certificate. Former students of the Guam Institute, Archbishop Felix Berto Flores and Judge Cristobal Duenas, was also in attendance to honor their alma mater. With the house now recognized as a historic landmark, the next step was to restore it to its former glory. In 1982, the Lujan family, together with the Department of Parks and Recreation and the Guam Women's Club, completed renovations of the severely damaged house under the guidance of Jack B. Jones and Mark Ruth of Taniguchi Ruth and Associates. Just like its placement in the Guam and National Register, a rededication ceremony was held on July 17, 1982, and to usher in the rebirth of the Lujan House was some of Jose's children, Manuel Lujan, Carmen Lujan Glenfield, Ana Lujan Carrillo, and Luisa Lujan Edquilane. Not wanting the house to fade away and be left to ruin once more, the Lujan family negotiated a land exchange with the government of Guam in the early 1990s. The family's fears came to pass though, as the house that Tun Pepe built was once again slowly deteriorating.
Stay tuned as Welcome Home returns.
Not wanting the house to fade away and be left to ruin once more, the Lujan family negotiated a land exchange with the government of Guam in the early 1990s. The family's fears came to pass though, as the house that Tun Pepe built was once again slowly deteriorating. But that wouldn't last for long, as the Department of Parks and Recreation would inquire the assistance of the Guam Preservation Trust to rehabilitate the historic home in 2005.
The historic Lujan House was restored for the very reason that makes the Guam Preservation Trust what it is. The Guam Preservation Trust's mission is to preserve and protect Guam's historic sites, its cultural heritage, and for the people and its future.
In its second restoration, the Guam Preservation Trust team made it their goal to honor the late Jose P. Lujan's original design by incorporating a style he would have appreciated, fusing old architecture methods with modern ones.
The process of rehabilitating or restoring a structure always starts with the research part, and that's a historic structures report. The historic structures report basically identifies the history of the house, who owned the house, why they built the house the way they built the house, what they used with the house, which room they, what was the use for each room in the house, but also most importantly are the materials used to build the house. If it was EFIT flooring, then we would have to go and look and assess where can we get some EFIT wood that will replace the rotted wood, or that will augment a certain part of the house that is missing. We look at materials, we look at the method of construction. What was the method of construction during that period? And from there, that's the basis that we bring in our architecture and engineering design work, and that's the basis that we rehabilitate the home.
and it could not come at a better time, as the Lujan House was fully rejuvenated and ready to be revealed to the public for its centennial on July 16, 2011, coinciding with its builder's birthday.
During the ceremony of the centennial and the rededication of the house, the community came together, the siblings and the children and great-grandchildren of the late Jose Lujan, the builder of the house, all came in to celebrate something that is magnificent, something that the Guam Preservation Trust is very, very proud of, and that's restoring the old Lujan House into its old glory. So the Lujan House, the historic Lujan House, again, just like it did before, it provides community to come together. The first floor of the Lujan House is our community room, our community meeting room, that organizations and government agencies would hold small meetings. And the second floor of the house is the Guam Preservation Trust office.
Battling through decades of typhoons and earthquakes, surviving a devastating war, and withstanding years of decay and neglect, the Jose P. Lujan House and Guam Institute lives on, continuing the tradition it set more than 100 years ago, being a rental space for use and educating the youth of Guam. For more info on the Jose P. Lujan House and Guam Institute and other historic landmarks on Guam, visit www.guampreservationtrust.com.
Coming up after the break, we meet up with Chris Guerrero from REMAX as he shows us some apartment available for rent or purchase. Thank you for joining us once again here at Welcome Home. You know, after seeing the Lujan House and learning of how it was built and lasted over the years, it makes me think of the places I would love to call home. But with so many places to choose from, it could be quite a task.
Well, maybe I can help you with that.
Well, hey,
Hi.
look at here. If it isn't our friend, REMAX Realtor, Chris Guerrero.
Yes, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Wow, you're here at Laddystone Park.
Yes.
Yeah, I
beautiful.
actually have a couple places in Ordet, Chalampago. You can go and take a look, and you probably call it home.
Awesome. I would love to see it.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Take a look.
Chris and I headed over to Aposento Gardens in the Ordet, Chalampago area to see the apartments available for purchase. I wasn't sure what to expect when entering the complex, so I was curious to see what the apartments would look like. Half a day, everybody. We're here at Aposento Garden checking out the first unit with Chris from REMAX. Chris, can you tell us a little bit more about the unit?
Well, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,060 square feet. It's got appliances, refrigerator, stove, washer, dryers, completely renovated, beautiful kitchen and bathrooms.
Awesome. Let's go check it out.
Let's go look.
Once we entered, already I felt as though I was at home. With a balcony parallel to the entrance, sunlight flooded the entire apartment, giving off a warm, welcoming vibe from the jump. A great first impression. Chris went into detail on the features of this third-floor apartment. Immediately when entering, I saw a fully equipped kitchen with nearly every accessory one would need. A refrigerator, microwave, toaster, oven, and multiple cabinets for storage. The kitchen then opens up into the living room with 2 cozy couches and a dining table on full display. The apartment then divides into 2 sections, a single bedroom with an adjacent bathroom on the left and a master bedroom with a personal bathroom on the right. Each was spacious, had sizable closets, and had mattresses already set. The apartment also comes with an in-house washer and dryer, which will save tons of time from driving to a laundromat. Needless to say, I was impressed by what I saw in the first stop. It was a nice, cozy living space I could see myself living in, and it already came furnished, which is a plus to me. We then moved to apartment number 2, right across from the first place. Climbing all the way to the 4th floor, Chris and I looked into what was behind door number 2. Hey guys, we're still here at Aposento Garden in Ordet, Chalampago, and here is Chris showing us our second unit. Where are we at, Chris?
We are at B410 Beautiful unit, also 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,060 square feet, completely renovated. Kitchen and bathrooms are gorgeous. Let's go take a look.
Let's go. Much like the first place, I felt a welcoming energy once we stepped foot into the second condo. But what separates this condo from the other is an inclusion of a dishwasher, helpful for cleaning plates and other dishes after gatherings with friends and family. Another unique addition is a built-in bar stool table. The marble top looks lovely and it opens up not just the kitchen but also the living room. I love how spacious the living room was. Without a dining table in the way, it opens up many possibilities for other items to fit inside the living room. The rest of the condo plays the same. A balcony that floods the living room with natural light, and 2 separate bedrooms with a single room and an adjacent bathroom on the left, and a master bedroom with a personal bathroom on the right. All in all, I found both condominiums to be great and a wonderful place to call home. If you're interested in any of these homes, contact Chris Guerrero at 647-3725. Up next, get some peace of mind with Zen Guru Amber Word. Welcome Home will be back shortly.
Hello everyone, I'm Amber Word from Blue Amber Trio, and today we're talking about clearing the mind with the help of some oils, some herbs, and some resins. This is a new one for a lot of people. Resins, I get a lot of questions about these, and it's a really exciting one to talk about. So resin is actually from a tree. It's the sap of a tree. And here we have frankincense and myrrh. And most people have actually heard of these guys from gifts for the baby Jesus, actually. They've also been used in healing and also spiritual space in Egyptian times, Roman times, and Greek times. So these guys, the resins, have been used for thousands of years. We use them in spiritual space essentially to be able to clear out the body and the mind. And what this does is it allows for you to really focus if you're going into a meditation or just finding some alone quiet time for yourself. The best way to work with resins is actually by using charcoals. So what I have right here is a little charcoal round. Because there's so much smoke that comes from one little tiny resin piece, I usually break these up into little quarter sizes. Okay? You can purchase these in little bricks like this. It comes with a big roll of 10. And what you do is you take an abalone shell or any type of jar, dish, and put sand or shard inside. And you light it on fire. So now that we have this charcoal all lit up, all you do is you get that frankincense, those little frankincense pieces into your hand. And even though it's so tiny, it's one tiny little piece, you put it on top of here, being careful, of course, to not hurt yourself. It is a hot thing. And you allow for it to begin to smoke. Just this one tiny little piece of frankincense, and it begins to sizzle. You can see how much smoke is generating off of that. So if you're in the house, you might be kind of careful of that fire alarm, okay? But as you can see, there's much smoke. You might have seen this on Sunday Mass before as well. And when you're using this in meditative space, what you're doing is you're allowing that to enter into the body, into the lungs, and it's really creating almost a thinning of layers between this reality space and another. If you're interested in frankincense, it also has medicinal qualities. For many people who wonder about how legit all of this about aromatherapy and different types of herbs are, there are many studies that are coming out, especially about frankincense right now, of a university in Wales. So you can go ahead and do a Google search out there for frankincense and medicinal uses. Myrrh would be used in exactly the same way, all right? Also for other smudging supplies, as you might have noticed from last month's Welcome Home, we had some smudging sticks, right? So here we have white sage, here's a desert sage, here's some cedar, which is a new one to you guys. And if smoke is not something that you really want in your space, or you're afraid of that fire alarm going off, you can instead aim for one of these guys. This is a natural air spritzer, but we also have the sage and the Palo Santo. One that's getting a lot of play and a lot of love right now for people who are getting into meditative space is aromatherapy. So you might recognize this over here, which is a diffuser. And some of the most popular oils for meditative space are, once again, frankincense, one of my all-time favorites, and lemongrass. Lemongrass, you might notice the smell if you've ever been to the spa. They really love to use lemongrass because it gets into the muscles for massage, but also the smell itself has a very relaxing effect on the body. So, in order to create your meditative space, in order to create some more spaciousness within your world, you can call on some of these things, some of these resins, these herbs, and these oils to clear the mind, to help center the body, and to bring yourself into more awareness. This is your peace of mind for this month. I'm Amber Word, and you can find many of these products at my store, Blue Amber Trio, including the resins, the smudge sticks, and even some of the sprays and oils. I appreciate you all joining me on this journey. If I can be of any assistance in any of this, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly on Instagram at @aword among many. Otherwise, I will see you all again next month.
I feel so at peace right now. What a wonderful way to close our show. Thank you to the Guam Preservation Trust for allowing us to tour the historic Lujan House. Thank you to our friend from Remax Realty, Chris Guerrero, for taking us to Aposento Gardens. And thank you to Amber Word for freeing our minds and relaxing our body. And lastly, thank you for tuning in to Welcome Home. My name is Ruby Jane. Till next time, adios.